Good evening. I'm Lane Douglas, and welcome to another episode of Really Smart People Talk About Important Stuff. We hear a lot these days about auto safety, the fact that many automobiles are not really that safe to be in case you get in an accident in one of them. And tonight we're going to address that. We have some very interesting people on the panel who are, in their own ways, experts on auto safety. So let's just get right to our guest tonight. Down in front here we have Meredith Witherspoon, and Meredith, I understand your organization that you represent is POP?
POP.
And what is POP?
Pissed Off Petite People.
So this is an organization of pissed off petite people?
That's right, POP.
Huh. So you've got a lot to be mad about tonight, is that right?
When it comes to cars, I certainly do.
Okay. Well, on Meredith's left we have Al Bruno, and Al is from the School of Offensive Driving.
That's right. I don't really have a problem with the way cars are made anymore. I think there's plenty of safety features in cars. The problem is attitude and getting people's attitudes prepared for the reality of the road. And that's what my School of Offensive Driving is about, and I'd like a chance to express my opinions on that.
Okay, well, you've come to the right place to do that. And down in front, we have someone who we're very grateful he could be here because of his busy schedule. He's flown all the way in from Detroit. We have Robert Lewis, who is a safety engineer for their Chevrolet division of General Motors.
That's absolutely right, and it's very nice to be here today.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Great for you to be here. And down in front here, we have, this is kind of a treat, a little something unusual. We have Edward Eddie Banks, who's an admitted car thief.
Yeah, not a car thief, a high-end car thief. You know, I used to steal the cars off the street. You know, people's old Chevys, cars like that. But now I steal your high-end automobiles for a test drive. For some of my clients who want to know if a car is good before they go buy it, I steal the high-end cars off the lot. You know, you buy a car, it's got 14 miles on it. That's me usually, and I'm out there checking them out.
So when they're out there buying those cars, and I've only had that experience once, but Meredith, it pissed me off that the car had about 60 miles on it. It's like it was taken from me. So you're the person out there doing that?
Yeah, you know, myself and my colleagues.
Huh.
How tall are your colleagues?
Most of my colleagues are in the 5'11" to 6'4" range. Pretty well-built guys. You need to be in my business.
And they can test drive these cars?
Oh, yeah. You know, you got to be sure a car is going to have the proper features for, you know, I got a lot of foreign clients, you know, who want to know about a car before they appropriate one, if you know what I mean.
I think we do. Mr. Lewis, for a long time, well, let's go back to 1955. In 1955, the Ford Motor Company was the first company to introduce standard safety belts. Nobody else wanted to touch them because they all saw that as an admission that their cars were not safe. Ford had the guts to do it. They put safety belts in their car, and the market murdered them. Their sales dropped. Everybody presumed that that was the Ford company admitting that their cars weren't safe. They took them back out the following year. It seems to be, over all these years, there's been this thing of, well, the motor car companies know what they ought to do as far as safety, but they either don't do it because they perceive that the market won't appreciate what they've done, or they do it for the simple fact that it costs money.
Well, you brought up some very good points. And, of course, our industry is basically dictated and driven by the consumer. And essentially what we're trying to do is produce a product which is both safe and also what the people would like.
Excuse me, Mr.
Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, yeah. How tall is your average consumer?
Most people, are you referring to a man or a woman?
Female.
Female's about 5'6".
5'6", yeah. What about these people that are under 5 feet, huh?
Well, again,
how do you expect them to drive the cars? Do you know what I gotta sit on? See this?
Yeah.
You ever driven a car with a pillow?
As a matter of fact, I haven't.
Yellow Pages. I tried to drive one of those Chevys once. I needed 2.
See, this is an example of one way in which the automobile might fail for a person such as yourself, which is really an anomaly.
So you're saying that I don't buy automobiles? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. There are actually attachments that you can buy that are designed to raise the seat up or, yeah, these things are obviously unsafe for driving, and we would not recommend that you drive with these.
Got to put this on my pedal when I drive a Chevy so I can reach the pedal.
Meredith, you are in a minority. I mean, most anybody your size is about 11 years old, and they shouldn't even be driving an automobile. So do you feel that that's their responsibility to be manufacturing?
So you're saying there's not short people out there?
Oh, there's
What
a
about
few.
Jamiri Lorettans?
She's
What about your
chauffeured
Sally
everywhere
Fields?
she goes. She's chauffeured everywhere she goes.
I don't got a chauffeur.
Huh. So do you think that this market, now let's get down to the base here, it's money, right?
Money certainly plays an important part in the decisions that we make. There are times when we would spend a little extra money to make the car more comfortable or safer for people, and other times we would not, because people just are not interested. For example, the safety belt issue that you brought up.
I got a theory. I used to steal these, you know, your low-end, your Honda Civics, your economy Volkswagens, you know what I'm talking about?
Like small people would drive?
Yeah, you know, the smaller
You mean
cars.
like your Pintos?
Like your Pinto, your Vega. These are dangerous automobiles. You know why? Because they're economy automobiles. These guys in Detroit are making automobiles for the people who got the dough to pay for them.
Mm-hmm.
These high-end cars, your Lexus, your high-end Chevys, your high-end Fords, these foreign cars that are coming in, these cars are made for the people who've got the money to pay them. That's why they got airbags in them. An airbag is to save a guy who can afford to be saved, you know. They don't care about your Joe Average who's going to kill himself anyway. He doesn't have a life worth saving. They figure, hey, what difference does it make?
Eddie, you understand the market value of things. I know you're into wholesale and retail on a lot of items. Mr. Lewis, don't misunderstand me. The people in Detroit, from what I understand, are taking an item, the airbag, which actually costs them only about $23 to put into an automobile, and they're on their high-end cars, their Caprices, their Monte Carlos, things like that. They're making a standard, but on the low end, where the real people are, the people that are just the average Joes without a whole lot of money, you're tacking on an additional $500 to the cost of that vehicle.
This is an issue that comes up, and again, we need to look at it in context of how often these things are actually used. The people on the high end buying these automobiles tend to want every extra feature that they can have on an automobile, whether or not you need it. If you drive in a safe and sane fashion, none of the safety features are necessary.
Bruno, excuse me. A safe and sane
call me
fashion.
or
Al,
Mr. Bruno.
Mr. Bruno, yes. A safe and sane fashion. Is that what is going to result from taking your course, or are the people from your course actually going to be more dangerous drivers?
Well, like I said, the problem, as far as I can tell, isn't the safety features. As you brought out before, cars back in the 50s didn't have safety belts. They do now, not just ordinary laptop safety belts. They have to have like required over-the-shoulder type safety belts. You got airbags. You've got cars that have non-locking brakes. Cars are basically safe. The problem is what? The problem is people are in a hurry. They're in a hurry. Why? They're in a hurry because they got to pay off their cars, their houses, their credit cards. They need to get from one point to the next. So you got people out on the road who are in a hurry but don't know how to get there in a hurry. And you've got people who are in a hurry and know how to get there in a hurry.
Those being some of your graduates.
Exactly. They've gone through my training. You see people more and more up here in the Northwest using a technique which I brought with me from the East Coast, which is high.
I took his class.
He was one of our star students.
I took it under a pseudonym. I don't know if you'd remember me.
I remember the face. I didn't realize you were a car thief, but hey, you were a good student. We pioneered out here in the Northwest, we pioneered high-speed tailgating. You can spot my students out on the road. They're the ones that are going to be behind your car. If you're going only 65, 70 miles an hour in the high-speed lane, they're going to be on your tail.
Yeah, they're the ones that they're so close you can't even see the hood of their car. All you can see is them in the windshield.
That's all you can see.
Except if they're short, then you can't even see them.
You're the ones that's like this, right?
That's the point I'm trying to make here.
See, she's got a good attitude out on the road. That's the kind of attitude we like to encourage. You know, it's these wimpy, goody two-shoes, Northwest, lily-livered, namby-pambied, jelly-backbone nobodies that are out there blocking the lanes, that are waiting for you. You know, they politely signal. If you're in a hurry, you got to make some bucks, right? You got a meeting. You've only got 5 minutes. You got to go across the bridge. There's lots of traffic. You don't want some little wimpy guy out there driving his little Volkswagen or something out there in the middle of the bridge. You want him out of the way. You're in a hurry. And that's what I want. My school, I want to create road scholars through my Masters of the Highway Road Certificate.
And you know, Eddie, you're a...
Yeah, one of my favorite classes, I remember this, because Al, what he did was he said, okay, now go out there on the road. Your assignment is to find somebody with one of those stupid little bumper stickers that you can barely read, you know, unless you're really up close, and to get right up on their butt and figure out what it says, and then pull up next to them, roll down your window, and yell them what their bumper sticker says. Those people get out of your way. It's brilliant.
That's good.
You know,
go ahead. No, really.
Go ahead. No, that's fine.
I'm before
that's
the
right.
master here. You go ahead.
No, I'm no master. I just have followed principles. And the first principle is attitude. If you're pissed off on the road, you've got an advantage.
I like that.
You know, if you got a bad attitude, if you got a place to be and you got to be there now, you know, that's the kind of guy, that's the kind of middle America Joe that these guys are scared of, because they got these guys all over the country now that they got brainwashed into thinking that they need an airbag or they need, you know, all this safety equipment to be safe or something, where they don't have a life worth saving. Whereas the rich people think they're worth saving, so they buy all this stuff. But I'll tell you something off the record, the reason why they don't put airbags in these low-end cars, airbags are fun, man. I have wrecked more high-end vehicles for that airbag rush.
Just to do that.
Oh man, it is incredible. It's like going back to the womb. You're just in like this cloudy space for a while. You curl up and just trust it. It's really great.
Mr. Banks, do you realize that because of your profession, an admitted car thief, that there's a lot of people out there that might find you kind of a creep? And what your opinion is on these things? It's like whatever he thinks, I think the opposite.
Look, this is the 90s. Times have changed. Money's short. Money is the primary concern when people are on the road. Time is money. It's true I don't particularly admire Mr. Banks's profession, but I do like his attitude. It's an attitude that more of us should have on the road. And I'm not concerned about safety anymore. I'm concerned about getting wimps off the road. And it's not that wimps by themselves are purposely trying to block things. They just need an attitude change. They need a personality profile that's rearranged. They need a psychological makeover. And that's what the School of Offensive Driving is all about.
Okay. Mr. Lewis, the wimps, as Al describes them out there on the road, according to recent statistics, about 40,000 of those wimps are killed every year that don't need to be killed over a $4.35 item, a $4.35 piece of metal that can go in each door to make them less likely to cave in on impact. And Detroit is been accused of being more concerned about $4.35 than these people's lives.
Interesting that you brought that up. Statistically speaking, you can take almost any figure or situation and pose it or frame it in such a manner that the figures come out, as you say, $4.35. But if you were to look on the scheme of things, where that steel is produced and the shape of that particular piece of steel and how it needs to be heat-treated, annealed, and the technical skill of the people that are installing that into the vehicle is such that it costs far more than that. But these figures are extrapolated from small amounts of numbers which one prototype has been made of, and they've done some testing on, and virtually, given the experiment that they did on that automobile, there were some safety factors that were evolved and that did come out of that, but basically all of these numbers are generated such to give you the impression that for only $4 you could actually save this many lives. And again, the lives are generated numbers from a few experimental data which don't actually have much to do with factual experience of people on the road.
He's making that shit up.
He's blowing smoke.
This guy sounds like the president or
I
something.
know, I know. He's just blowing smoke.
You just, what you just said, you either said two things. One, nothing, or you said that this $4.35 is actually a $12 item, and so that makes it okay to kill all those people?
I guess in more simplistic terms is that the dollar value that would be added onto the car would be such that most people who would normally think of buying that automobile would in fact be dissuaded from buying that car when that dollar factor is actually added in, so that those people who have been killed would be unaffected by this change in the automobile, which you think would be important to bring about.
So that's what you said the first time?
Because they're already dead.
Essentially, yes.
Don't cry over spilled wimps.
Yeah, why that's another problem, you know, that's always come up in my mind, is the problem of people's conscience. Okay, so they go out, say they run through a pedestrian crosswalk.
You know
Almost
what?
hit a couple of pedestrians.
Some of us
Big deal.
can't even see them. When you're driving like that, you can't even see the pedestrians.
So why would your conscience be bothered by something minor like that? Say you block some guy coming out trying to get onto the freeway when you're driving. You've got a destination. Why should you feel bad about him? If somebody, my attitude, one of the techniques that we talked about in the school was aggressive driving.
I like that.
Aggressive driving is a situation, say there's a guy in front of you who wants to parallel park. He's pulling in, going in backwards. You need that space. Answer, you pull in forward into the driving space.
That's good.
You know, sure they're going to get a little bent out of shape. Sure they're going to be a little bit upset about the situation.
Yeah, but can they back it up?
But can they back it? No, they can't back up their car, and they can't back it up. What are they going to do? Complain?
Yeah, they're going to get out of the car and yell at you for a while
Yeah,
or
they're
something?
ashamed. People are going to look at them and wonder, how come you didn't pull in forward into the parking place?
Because they're an idiot.
They're an idiot, and they're a wimp, and they're a chump for not getting there first.
Meredith, speaking of idiots and wimps and chumps, you complain about not being able to see these people in the crosswalks. There was a car that was manufactured that was a very good car that was perfect for small people.
What was
Perfect.
it?
It was the AMC Pacer. It was all glass. It was just glass from here to here. You could see
You ever
everywhere.
seen that thing? It's the
Well,
ugliest piece of shit I've ever seen on the
Well,
road.
short people are kind of odd looking too, so they kind of went together. No offense.
Odd looking? Odd looking. Am I? Oh, not you. Am I odd looking, Eddie?
You're kind of small, but that's all right. You know, you're easy to transport.
You got a good attitude. I
Thank
like your
you.
attitude.
Okay, well, here was an opportunity to buy a vehicle that would be just right for you. Appearance aside, technically it was a wonderful car. Pacer killed AMC. I mean, the AMC was limping along. They came out with a Pacer. It was either save them or the company was going to die.
'Cause it
Everybody
was
laughed
ugly
at
as
him. Nobody
shit.
wanted him.
I'm sorry. It was
Yeah,
the
but you-
ugliest piece of shit I've ever seen on the
so
road.
you're saying how you look on the road is better than your own safety?
I'm saying I'm a short person and I deserve to look good in a car. I deserve to look good in one of those big
know, but-
cars.
We could fix you up with a nice celebrity, and basically
How big are
what you
those?
need to do is,
You know,
The size of a
mid-size.
piece of wood there.
it's a mid-sized automobile,
Mid-size.
but what you need to do is talk to the dealer when you can go in, and we can fit it with a seat that would make you very comfortable and
How
give
much
you
extra
great.
is that going to be?
For the seat, probably $400.
And then for the windows lower and the pedals up
No, we
higher
can
and
adjust take her up
seat,
in the seat,
okay.
yeah, and actually bring the gas pedal and the brake up.
And how much extra is that going to be?
Like I said, probably about $400. But again, you would have to talk to your local
Yeah, but
dealer.
she wants to look good, and you're talking about putting her in a celebrity?
Well, I mean, everybody, you know, certainly we could retrofit any of our
For
automobiles.
extra money, why don't you just start out in the beginning?
It's very difficult to build an automobile for everyone. If Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was sitting here,
same problem she has, just the
same
opposite
thing,
end. Yeah.
same thing, sure.
No telephone books.
We can't.
Except he's one of those guys that people drive around.
That's true.
They know what it
Chauffeur.
is.
Yeah.
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 That
Like
seems to
Mary
me
Lou
to be
Retton.
your answer.
Chauffeur? You looking for a job, Eddie?
Well, you know, I drive a lot. I don't know if you'd like to keep my schedule.
I'm Yeah, we'll
A lot
talk.
of late night work too, Chris.
Yeah, you know, and it's difficult to find a good car out there these days. I'm telling you, I've stolen your Taurus, I've stolen your BMW 735i, and I've stolen your new Lexus and your Infinities.
Yeah.
These are high-end, expensive cars. Your Mercedes Benzes.
Are they really safer though? I drive an old American car. I sideswiped an Audi 5000. I did about 40 bucks damage to my car, and I sliced open the side of that Audi like a can opener. I mean, it was just like you can see right into the car. What kind of safety is that?
Well, you know, it depends on what you're looking for. Lateral safety, like you were talking here, they don't reinforce them. Now, if they reinforce the front end and make that safer, then, you know, you get Al out here. If he sees his vision and people drive more aggressively, you're going to need only your reinforcement in your front end.
What if everybody goes through your course and drives the way you want? I mean, wouldn't it be
man,
just
in a perfect world.
First of all, let me tell you something. People come to me all the time. They say, Al, look, I'm desperate. My children are ashamed of me in the car because I get pushed to the side. I can't get on the freeway, can't get off the freeway.
That's from
They're
one of his
ashamed.
commercials. That's from one of your commercials.
Yeah, from my commercial.
Yeah.
They say, Al, what can you do for me? Can you help me? My answer always is 100% yes.
Yeah, but do that thing you do on TV when you say 100% yes.
100% yes.
I've seen this guy at TV, right?
And I will say it again and again to those folks who want to come to my course, alleviate their fears, get out on the highway, get to where they want to go on time, make the money, support the family.
If Meredith was to get one of these cars with a $400 option and then take your course, okay, would she be like a real badass out there on the road?
Of course, initially, it's like many other people. We have people who have difficulty seeing. We have people who tend to be a little bit unbalanced when they get behind the wheel. We've got people with all sorts of anomalies and
there were old people in our class.
85, 90 years old. You can overcome your liabilities by the correct adjustment of attitude. And so I don't believe General Motors, Chevrolet, Ford really need to worry about safety anymore. Hey, those guys have been responsible. But we need to adjust people's attitude. And what will happen in the long run? What's going to happen? What's going to happen is that the wimps who just can't hack it, who just don't want to put out the bucks to take my course, are going to get off the freeway. So it's just going to be those people who have had the psychological adjustment towards offensive driving that are going to make it in this world. Survival of the fittest. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and I'm sure you're aware of that.
What's that going to do to the makeup of this country if everybody's that way? I mean, we as society goes on, there's more and more violence, more and more people just being rotten to each other, and this is only going to make it worse.
Look. What happened recently? We've got Norman Schwarzkopf. He blew away Kuwait and Iraq. And over 100,000 people were destroyed. But
now he's a knight.
Now he's a knight.
I respect this guy.
And we respect this guy.
See, aggression.
No fuss, no muss. You know, why should our conscience be bothered? That's my question.
Aggression is different than violence, you know. Aggression is different. It's like, okay, if I drive aggressively, like Al taught me how to do, and I'm on somebody's butt and I'm saying, get out of my way, and I'm jamming them, you know, and I'm bumping them and I'm moving them, that's different. If I walk up to a guy and I put a gun to his head and I blow his head off, that's violence. There's no point in that. I mean, I could wait till he gets in his car and scare him off the road. He might kill himself. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference.
So would somebody like Schwarzkopf, I mean, would you like to have him in General Motors? Would his attitude about killing people bring your sales up, do you think?
It might. Schwarzkopf has got a great attitude, and what a marketing genius. And frankly, I think he could do very well. And basically, he would put an end to people such as yourself complaining about our automobiles not coming up to standards. I mean, frankly, I don't know if you could get on a ride at Disneyland. So as far as us building a car to fit, I think Norman would just draw the line and put people like you in their place. So, yeah.
You know, in the
Disneyland,
in a utopian situation, you know, in a perfect world, you got your big corporations that make your automobiles that don't give a damn, can I say? Is it too strong a language to say?
I mean,
about safety. No, really, between us, you know, just between us 4 or 5 here, you don't really care. If you didn't have to put safety belts and airbags in your car, you wouldn't do it.
Oh, no,
you got a guy over here who wants, yeah, well, it's borne out by history anyway. You got Al Bruno wants to teach people to drive more aggressively. I mean, in the perfect world here, you got a guy who's saying, I'll pick up the slack. You don't have to worry about being safe. I can fix that with your attitude. And you got a guy over here who's saying, hey, you're saving me money. It's America.
We're talking the same wavelength here. It's actually, if you want to look at the program I'm talking about, it's the Norman Schwarzkopf School of Driving. You can drive, you can do whatever kind of havoc, create whatever havoc you want on the road to get to where you want to go in as short a time as you want to go.
Everybody thinks you're great.
Everybody thinks you're great, and who cares? Who has to pay the price?
Yeah, run down. If there's somebody who moves into your territory, you know, parallels that whole, what's the guy's name, Hussein or something? You know, he moves into your territory on the freeway, you just move him out. I like it.
Meredith, what I sense here is these people are kind of aligning themselves into a common thought, and you aren't too far off. I mean, your attitude, you're just one pissed-off short person, and it seems to me a pissed-off short person in a pissed-off petite person in a properly redesigned automobile going through this course and maybe spending some of your casual times with people like Eddie, you'd be a force to be reckoned with.
Perfect world. Sounds good.
You know, we get students like Ms. Witherspoon all the time. They have difficulty coping with the environment, that dog-eat-dog environment out there. But we
Leilana, 3'9". Remember Leilana?
Leilana, she was
3'9".
She comes to my meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know her.
She took
She's
his class.
good. Yeah.
It's attitude. Everything's an attitude. Repositioning of personality traits to cope with the driving environment out there that we have to face every day to earn a buck.
So somebody like Meredith, who basically has an offensive personality, if she took your offensive course, driving one of these offensive automobiles and spending time with offensive people like Eddie,
she's 90% there. You know, some people come in, they're naturals. You know, if you come in with an attitude to begin with, you're 90% there. You're out on the road. My course, for example, there's some basic things people can do to increase their aggressive potential on the road. One simple thing is just to put in a cassette tape with some aggressive sounding music, some rap maybe, you know, like boom.
2 Live Crew.
Yeah.
Or those big speakers that make everybody crazy.
Yeah, thrash metal is good too. Really, you know, speed metal.
Another thing is facial attitude. You know, if you go in there beatific and calm, you're not going to check this attitude. She's on the road already. She's halfway there.
Yeah, cover up your eyes. You get a pair of mirrored shades, which I can't give you mine because of identity problems.
Then add
you
with
throw
that.
Glasses on.
Now pretend, say, Ms. Witherspoon, pretend you're grabbing onto the wheel of that car.
And I can see over it.
Now I want to see a Clint Eastwood type of expression. Now we put on that boombox a subliminal tape, an Al's tape. And we're gonna put some subliminal messages like, nobody's gonna make a monkey out of me.
Nobody's gonna make a monkey out of me.
Make my day.
Make my day.
I'm coming.
I'm coming.
Nobody's gonna get in my way.
Nobody's gonna get in my way.
And then you press your foot, your pedal to the metal.
God damn it.
Now she's moving about 80 miles an hour. She's on that highway. That boombox is going.
Meredith, I want to tell you, you make an attractive package when you're in that.
There you go.
Change of attitude, huh?
You know,
I'm afraid there is, yeah.
When I first went to Al's class, he told me that, you know, I went in because I'm saying, you know, I'm starting to steal these high-end vehicles, so I need to, you know, get in quiet, get out quickly. Al says, hey, break down the showroom window and drive the car.
Ooh, what an attitude.
Well, I think that's maybe a little bit of an exaggeration, but I don't actually advocate destruction, mind you. I'm pushing the limits.
Okay, well,
pushing
you know,
people's
tonight,
limits.
I think we've kind of come to a consensus here. I thought we were going to have a show where basically you guys are going to be fighting like cats and dogs, but it looks like you've kind of united to one.
America, car companies don't want us to be safe. They want us to die. They want us to get in accidents, so we have to purchase more vehicles.
Okay.
They got a lot more cars out there to buy.
Okay, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've taken the safety issue on automobiles and I think pretty much cleared it up for you. So any questions you have, you can reach us at our post office box and we'll direct the letters to the appropriate people. And thanks a lot for watching tonight. Good night.
Stop by and see
Talk to
your
you.
Meredith, step up.